What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Darkest Dungeon, a game which I am really happy to be playing. First things first, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fact that we are not where we were at the end of the last episode. What had ultimately happened is I had played about 10 episodes that I had recorded for this series, and I had been really unhappy with the gameplay. Essentially, it was me just like riding the game into the ground, death spiraling and not playing very well because I didn't understand the gameplay tenets. I wanted to do a blind playthrough, but this is not a game that is conducive to blind playthroughs. It's kind of similar to doing a blind playthrough of FTL. It's not going to be so great, and it's not going to be so entertaining either. You're going to make it to like the second level and you're going to die like instantaneously. And so rather than broadcast and upload a bunch of videos where essentially I was playing badly, I really didn't have any advice for the players, and I was making myself look derm, I decided to reboot the series and we're going to start over. On top of that, I accidentally deleted the save file last night. However, I had already rebooted the series when I deleted the save file, so ultimately there's been like 10 episodes recorded now that you're not going to see, 6 of them from the old series, 4 of them from the new one, and I deleted it all on accident. It's due to the way that the game uses its save system. It's actually, there's a reason I accidentally deleted my save file, but honestly I don't really want to explain it right now. I just want to jump back into the game and play. So here we are. It's the first day. We haven't done the first dungeon yet. Let's have a look at our characters. I'm going to try and do my best to actually give you some advice at this point and try to make this whole thing a little bit less cryptic, because the game does have a lot of weird facets that I had failed to explain in the first episode. At this point, I have about 13 hours of gameplay time. I pulled an all-nighter playing it. I've enjoyed the game a lot, and I really do think that it's a great game, but without some of the metagame knowledge here, you are not going to get very far. There are very specific things that have to happen in certain fights and in certain orders, otherwise this game, you're going to death spiral, and that's it. The game's economy is very fickle. It's very easy to run out of money, and in fact, the game is designed such that you can run out of money. The downside of this being is that you can't get rid of people's stress unless you have money, and so ultimately it's very easy to bottom out your game here. And while technically you can still keep playing just kind of like on repeat by deleting people and then recruiting more soldiers, it's difficult to get ahead of the curve once you're behind it. So we've still got Reynald. His stats are always the same. He always has the same skill set, so nothing to worry about there. Dismas is identical. He's got quick reflexes and hard noggin just like he did before. His attacks are the same. The people who are going to be different are going to be Machalt, or Macult. I don't know what to call her. I'm going to call her Macult because, you know, she's a sister of Sigmar, and there is the Sigmarite cult. Well, she's not a sister of Sigmar in all technicality, but anyway, she looks like one. She's in Macult. She's got wasting sickness, and so she has no disease resist. That's actually not so terrible. And she's on guard, which means on the first round she gets 4 speed, and on the first round she gets 5 dodge. That's actually pretty considerable as well. She has perfect stats for a third person in your line. And so if you take a look through, there are specific things that you want from a Seeker Vestal depending on the build. And so if you want her to be third in line, you want her to have Judgment, which is ultimately an attack that heals her and then deals damage to the enemy. It's a lightning strike from the skies, a heavenly bolt of righteousness. Dazzling Light is a stun attack, which is very good and can be used from the 3rd or 4th slot. She has Divine Comfort, which can be used from anywhere in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th slot. It's an AoE heal. She didn't get the nuke heal, which is a little bit disappointing. But at the same time, I can work with just the AoE heal. I'll spam it all the way through the game, even on easier encounters if I have to, and it'll probably work out at the end of the day. And she has Illumination, which is usable from the 3rd, 2nd, or 1st line, which gives the enemy a nerf to their dodge and deals a little bit of damage and then raises your torch meter as well. Corbett, or Corbet, if you wanted to make him sound fancy, like Sherbet. It's not sherbet, it's sorbet. Anyways, we've got ourselves here, we've got Noxious Blast, which is a decent attack. It's just a grenade that he throws that gives people blight. It doesn't really do much. It's alright. Ultimately, it'll deal about 6 damage. It's kind of a worthless ability. This is the one that you want, though. Blinding Gas is the most important ability that you can have on a Plague Doctor. If a Plague Doctor doesn't have Blinding Gas, I get rid of him personally. I just fire him right away. The downside here is this character is going to be a bad gambler, and this character is claustrophobic, so there's a couple of things that can go seriously wrong with this character. On the plus side, disease resist, so apparently it helps out to be running your face through all kinds of buboes and, you know, getting goo and nastiness all over yourself while you're curing people. So he's got blight resist, which is a little bit better than you would expect. Death Below, their skills are looking pretty good right now. I'm happy with this party. It took me a while to get this party, and in fact, if you don't get a specific party, like if these two do not have specific stats when you start the game, I would actually recommend that you just re-roll. Just start over. It'll make your life easier. But anyways, I wish that Macult was a little bit better and had herself the nuke heal, but that's the only thing I'm a little bit sad about. Everybody else has great stats right now, and I'm excited about starting off.
Word is traveling. Ambition is stirring in distant cities. We can use this.
I'm gonna let him talk with the narrations. I don't know if people prefer it or not. I'm gonna let him have the narrations though, so that people can figure out what's going on. Now I am gonna have to make specific cuts in this because no video recording software likes this game. I've tried basically 5 different recording softwares now, and the problem being is the same thing that this War of Mine had. The game opens and closes itself faster than the blink of an eye every time you transition zones, and video recorders really hate that. So ultimately, in order to make things work, I'm gonna try and record it in such a way where I jump in and I jump back out so that you don't miss storyline, but at the same time so that it doesn't like have drop frames or mess up the video. Embarkation, let's go. So things I didn't talk about right here last time. On the left hand side there's a lot of pertinent information that you want about the dungeon that you're about to do. Right here is how much campfire wood you get. Everybody gets campfire wood every now and again. It's embarrassing, but hey, it happens to everybody. Just be aware campfire wood happens. It allows you to take a break in the middle of a dungeon. Medium dungeons give you 1 campfire, and I think large dungeons give you 2 campfires. Short dungeons give you 0, so don't worry about it. There's nowhere that you can buy this as far as I know. It just sort of gives it to you as a way to extend the missions out and make it a little bit easier to win, although easier is kind of in finger quotes right there. Our line is going to be Renault. Machalt is in the 3rd position, or Macult. Dismas is in the 2nd position, and Corbett, or Corbett. I'm gonna call him Corbett. Whatever, he's Corbett. I'm not gonna. I could make him sound fancy and like, my name is Corbett, but no, his name is Corbett from now on. And then the other thing, it tells you right here a recommended level for this mission. You are going to have to grind in this game. Just get used to that. You're gonna have to do missions over and over and over again to level up. Otherwise, the later game is gonna be difficult. I've made it to the Warrens and the Walled. I like the game a lot thus far. It's very addictive, but it's difficult. If RNG happens, I'm okay with that, but I was not. Ultimately, my rule here on YouTube, the reason why I did the reboot, if I'm not happy with the series, I'm not going to put it up. That's what it comes down to. So anyways, let's go. The Provisioner is a little bit of a rough gamble. In my experience, it's hard to tell how much food you're going to need for most expeditions. A safe spot for me is for a short expedition, 10 torches and 10 food. On a medium expedition, I would actually double these, 20 food and 20 torches. But you're going to make a lot more money on a medium run. Always bring 2 shovels. You never know. One of the most detrimental things you can have happen to your party in the entire game are, there's AoE crits. An AoE crit is far and away the worst thing that can ever happen to your party. And then B, having to dig through rubble with your hands is the second worst thing with respect to stress. And so if you're trying to play the game in such a way where your people won't stress out and go crazy after the 3rd room, these are all going to be things that you want to bring. I'm going to bring a skeleton key just in case too. Let's go ahead and embark.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Alright, we're going to be here, and let's go ahead and take a look around. I think we can probably, the first things first is you want to learn how to use the map. If you could take a look, you can right-click on the map, which will rotate it around. I didn't do this at all in my last series, and it ended up with me being very disoriented a lot of the time. Other things that you can do with the map, you can zoom in and out using the scroll bar so long as it's over here. But other than that, just little things I wanted to bring up along the way, because I feel like this LP should be informative. This game is going to, infuriate a lot of people, and there are tricks to making it work. Let's go to this room over here. Alright, so because Renault is in the front, his ability right now is Kleptomaniac. That means that randomly when you walk past a loot node, he'll just steal everything out of it. That's actually going to be a big reason to get rid of him later in the game. He can steal upwards of like 9,000 golds worth of stuff if you get a really, that's too much. He can actually steal probably 2,000 golds worth of stuff if you really mess it up. Oh, there was a trap. Did I step on that or was it? Oh, he dodged it. Good. Awesome. Oh, and there goes his ability right there. And so, yeah, he stole 600 gold. He stole 600 gold and a torch. He just pocketed it. This is a major reason to get rid of Renault as soon as you can manage it. Seriously, get rid of him. I've had him steal like 3,000 golds worth of stuff before, and it will make you want to cry all day, every day. So we've been attacked by the enemy. They got the jump on us, so it's a surprise attack, which rearranges our line, and then additionally makes it such that they get to attack first. However, we don't lose our entire turn, so there is a bonus here. There's a couple ways it could have gone worse. I'm going to start out by dazzling lighting that one, and he's going to dodge. Unfortunately, the stun isn't going to go off. It can't really be helped right now. I'm going to spend his turn. Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to rearrange my line. I don't want to leave people disorganized. If you've got yourself a highwayman, you should be using Blunderbuss or a Grape Shot Blast on every turn. It's the best ability in the game, by far. Seriously, it's a really good ability. Never mind the fact that it doesn't deal that much damage. It still deals enough damage and has enough of a crit chance to really change the outcome of a lot of battles. Eldritch Pull. She's going to dodge it right there. What Eldritch Pull does is it touches you with a nasty, sticky, sexual tentacle and drags you to the front of the line, which can be deeply upsetting. Now, the reason I need him to be further back in the line is so that we can use his blinding gas. His farts are so terrible that he can actually blind people with it. It's like that guy when you're driving someplace and he closes the window and you hear it lock and he like laughs at you. Exactly what I'm talking about. Stressful Incantation. There's a reason we need to stun lock these people in the back line, and Stressful Incantation is that reason. Plus, she has the ability to rearrange our line, which is a major, major threat to us. I think I'll probably go for Judgment now, which is going to do damage. Let's just start on the front line, I guess. So 5 damage right there. Very, very nice. She got heal for 1 after attacking. Think of it as just kind of like your own reflective strike, I suppose. You hit them, it bounces back with a little bit of health. You dance in the blood spray in the most grimdark way possible. Over there, we've already got 2 enemies down. Now the downside to what just occurred is that she's going to get out of her...
A faint hope blossoms.
The downside, if we're in combat, I'm actually going to talk over the narrator because he says the same like 5 things over and over and over again. If we're in the real world though, he says like random stuff. It's kind of hard to tell. Basically, he's not like the narrator in Bastion. He says like predetermined stuff in certain missions and with certain bosses. But other than that, I'm probably going to talk over him aside from, you know, combat because he really does. He kind of repeats the same 8 things over and over and over again. I'm going to AoE the front line. So there's 4 and 3 right there. She's going to have to use up her stun to get out of combat, but it is a big deal that we get rid of her. She's no longer stunnable now that she's been moved to the front of the line, so you gotta watch out for that. Either way, though, we have Judgment, which means that, I'm sorry, we have Dazzling Light, which means I can still attempt to stun lock her. It misses a lot, though. I think it's got like an 80% chance to hit. Yeah, 80% chance to hit. So when you mouse over every ability, the accuracy base is its actual percentage chance to hit, and then it takes modifiers based on their dodge and a couple other things as well. So it can become an issue. So what is her chance to dodge? I don't actually, her dodge is 13. So actually, you've got a really, really good chance of missing her. Her dodge chance is 13, which means you basically have like a 67% chance to hit. I'm going to try and stun her. See if I can keep her from getting a turn. I would really appreciate it because she can actually stack up stress very quickly on your characters. Get her with a Noxious Blast, I guess, so that when she takes her turn and tries to get out of the stun, she'll get herself hurt a little bit by the blight. Throw our bottles full of goo at them. Who knows what it is? Nobody. No idea where he harvested this from or, you know, what it is. But anyways, he can't use Pistol Shot from... Oh, it's because she's in the front line. Never mind. Let's finish her. The job is now done. Her affinity for skull helmets has now fallen to the end.
They can be beaten.
Or fallen to its end, I suppose. On this side, we've got rubies.
With loot. Are often low on supplies.
It's also that he talks too much. That's the other thing, is that he says the same 5 things over and over. And oh, they actually need to reduce the frequency of it. Like, after you've heard it the first time, I don't think anybody wants to hear it like 38 more times. After having played the game for like 13 hours, seriously, it gets a little bit old. Like, I wish you could actually turn the narrator off for everything except for storyline content somewhere, but you can't. So I'm not going to complain about it. You can have 100 gold. We got a Onyx right there, so we got our Pokemon. We got 600 right there. We got 1,000 from the Ruby, so big, big money coming in already. That means that we made what looks like 1,600 off the first run, and we got some medicinal herbs to make our lives easier. Yes, please 'em. You won't hear me complaining about it. I'm going to use the torches fairly heavily in the early game because it is important to keep your light radius up when your characters are weak. The basic way that the light radius works is that the higher it is, the better your scouting is, and you have a better chance to surprise the monsters. The lower it is, the more you crit, the more loot you get, but the enemy hits you more, they surprise you, so they always get the first strike. Your line is always messed up when you start, and then you have like no chance of scouting. So these are the balances. If you're on a money run and you're just trying to farm up cash with like your A-team in an easy dungeon, then yeah, I'd leave the lights out the entire time because you will accumulate a lot more cash that way. So if you're trying to get them ducats, that would be my recommendation. But in the early game, I would stay away from it. In the early game, I would treat it just sort of like it was stinky and foul and rusty and likely to give you tetanus. The sack's contents are yours. Well, if there's one thing I like doing, it's rifling through a sack every now and again, so there it is. We got ourselves some stun bugs. These guys are kind of nasty because they can stun lock you. And if you're reliant on AoEs, that can become a very, very big issue very, very fast. However, they have very little HP, so if you can hit them for 5 like that right there, you can take them out in the early game without having to worry about it. I'm going to go Judgment on the spider. So there it is. Didn't actually kill the spider, though, unfortunately. Hopefully he does not get stunned. He is going to get blighted right here, though. Yep, there it is. The spiders give you blight. They don't have poison. They have blight for some reason. I guess they're blight spiders. He's going to destroy them with the infallible rhymes of his raps. He's actually on the side. That's what he does for a living. He's a rapper. On the side, just to make extra cash, he goes in and he does, like, random dungeons and puts on his Dark Souls armor and gets into a fight. I actually really like the way, by the way, the developers, I love the way that they've integrated, like, characters from all of the worlds that they like. So, for example, you've got like the Plague Doctor. That's going to be from the real world, but realistically, I bet it's more than likely from Assassin's Creed, maybe. I mean, that's where they showed up, that showed a lot of people that they existed in history. This guy is obviously from Dark Souls. He looks just like, he's got like the Elite Knight's armor or whatever it is. This guy is a Defias thug from World of Warcraft, and this lady is a Sigmarite priest, essentially, from Warhammer Fantasy, a sister of Sigmar. A lot of people don't know about the Sisters of Sigmar because they're kind of like a niche army. A lot of people don't, like, even know they exist, to be honest, because they're like the Sisters of Battle. The rule sets don't get updated very often. Nobody really plays them. They're much more frequent in Mordheim, where they play one of the war bands. Anyways, I like the way that the developers have done that. I think it's really, really cool that they've incorporated things that they like from other games into this game. Ooh, big crit for 6 right there. RNG got us. RNG got us. So we're going to need to start spamming out heals. We really have no choice right there. The big guy you're going to want to worry about right here is this individual. Bad luck. So much bad luck right now. Like 2 crits like that in a row is almost insurmountable. I would almost consider re-rolling right now if I was playing the game on my own. But we'll ride this out and we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, what happened happened, and there's not going to be a whole lot of ways for us to get out of it. What we want to try and do is stun lock this guy as much as possible for the remainder of the fight, because we've taken a lot of damage far too early in the combat. He's going to resist the push of the Eldritch. On this side, I'm going to use Battlefield. No, let's use stun lock. And see if we can get him stunned for the remainder of the fight. Just keep him out of it. On this side, we got another heal that needs to go out, so we'll go ahead and let that go. She's going to try and use Eldritch Push again. It's going to deal 1 damage, and he's not going to resist it this time. He's going to get knocked back, which is unfortunate considering our line has really been moved around. Honestly, abilities that bypass the line I think are a little bit too common in this game. Essentially, it's far too easy for the enemy to rearrange your line, and it's far too easy for you to rearrange theirs. I think they need to go back through as a matter of balance and make sure that pushing and pulling abilities have a much higher chance to miss, because honestly, having your line rearranged in this game can be a death blow. Like, look how this basically nerfed everything that he can do in the entire game. Luckily, we can make it work, but right now I feel like essentially every character has far too many ways to like fiddle with your line and mess with things. Let's see here. We're going to use that again for 8 more damage. The enemy's now down. I'm going to try and keep this dude stun locked just because his ability to kill us is far too high at the moment. However, I think I can make this work. Let's go Grape... No, we'll just go ahead and slash him. He's not going to bleed. Skeletons have a very high bleed resist. I have to hope that we don't get another crit right here. That double crit at the moment really just sort of wrecked us. So I'm going to have to... We don't have a nuke heal, which is going to hurt us as well. Like I said, I probably would have re-rolled her in my personal game, just because the nuke heal is something that I personally really like to have. I'm going to go with... Let's just get a Noxious Blast going on him, I guess, maybe. They have a lot of resist, but his blight resist is actually pretty low by comparison to everything else, so things to think about. I'm going to try and keep him stunned this entire time by pommel whipping him every single like, it's basically the medieval equivalent of a pistol whip. It's equally as satisfying as well, but I'm going to hit him with the pommel every chance that I get to try and like get rid of him. His stun resist is very low. The other way that I would do this, I'm actually going to try and farm my HP up a little bit by stun locking him for as long as possible. So let's go ahead and I'm going to bypass. Don't bypass turns, by the way. It's better to use a useless ability on somebody than to bypass a turn. The reason being is if you bypass a turn, you automatically get stress. So just things to think about. I'm going to sit here and spam up heals for a little bit to see if I can get this fixed. We might kill him on accident. It could happen. In fact, he'll probably die on the next turn, but it lets us get a little bit of health back that we wouldn't have gotten anyway. So for example, you wouldn't bypass this turn. You would use Take Aim, and it'll save you stress. Other things to think about. I don't know why you automatically get stressed for bypassing a turn. It's a mechanic that you can easily get around by using any one of the millions of passive abilities, and so at that point I would actually question why it remains in the game. You should just get rid of it, because I'm just going to cheese mode out to avoid getting the stress anyways. Bulwark of Faith. I think he's going to die on his next turn anyways from Blight, so why worry about it? I'm going to go Bulwark of Faith just to find out what it does. Gives him plus 20% protection. I really have no idea what protection does. Even after 13 hours of playing, I've never seen him jump in front of somebody and like protect them. However, that doesn't mean that that's not what he does. I have no clue really though. I don't use the ability much. He should die of Blight, so yeah, there it is.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
Alright, and so we got ourselves holy water portraits and jade, which is nice. There's two varieties of jade. As a geologist, I'm going to fill y'all in. Nephrite and jadeite. The only difference between the two is one is an aluminum base, and the other one uses magnesium and iron. Additionally, one is sodium based and one is calcium based. The only way you could tell the difference between the two, I would figure, would be to throw dilute acid on it. By eye, my guess would be that it would be very difficult to tell the difference. The pyroxene variable might be able to be identified based on the crystal structure, but yeah, two varieties of jade, very, very popular in history. Everybody loves jade. Jade was commonly used as currency, as a decorative item, still valuable to this day if you can find a nice bed of it, to be honest. What's going on over here? A decorative urn. Yeah, sure, I'm not afraid. Sentimental gifts are hidden inside. We got 1,000 gold. It looks like 1,250, so we actually got quite a bit of gold from that right there. Really, really happy about it. Let's go ahead.
The cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
That right there isn't important. That's why you bring shovels. So what happens if you don't bring a shovel is you get 20 stress to every single person in your party, and they all lose 2 health. It's a big, big hit to your party that you cannot take early on. Let's say the first room has a big rubble pile in it. That means you're starting out the dungeon with major stress issues and already missing some health. Let's keep moving. Okay, nothing in this room. We made a scout check, though, so we succeeded right there. There is a fight in this room with some... It looks like there's actually a considerable amount of treasure in there. Things to be worried about, though. Our health is pretty low, so my guess would be the way that I would like to play this out is we're just going to rush for the end of the dungeon. Sometimes you just got to say the enemy's gate is down and go for it. That's the best that I can say right now. Know when to hold them and know when to fold them in this game. It's incredibly important that you know, like, what is winnable and what is not. That's a skill that you're going to have to develop as you play the game, looking at the situation you're in. Right now, in fact... Ooh, webbed, okay. Oh, it's actually a stun ability. I didn't realize... Okay, so that's going to be an issue for us, largely because he's got our stun lock ability. Ooh, a triple dodge right there. Really, really bad RNG has come home to roost. And unfortunately, it's left us up a tree. That's no fun. Luckily, oh, 8 damage? Really? That was a really, really big hit right there. Ooh. Keep AoEing. Just see if we can destroy them with AoEs before they can finish anything else off. We're in a really, really bad way right now. They definitely got us in some type of way right now. We're... Alright, so his veins are on fire. The plus side is that he's able to cure himself, so we'll get on that right now so he doesn't take too much more damage. That's going to leave her in a position to use Divine Comfort on everybody. She can call it what she wants. It's mostly just like thigh rubbing and generally just being uncomfortable. I'm going to try and pommel blow this guy. His resist to stun isn't so great. Ah, we critted. And so when you crit, everybody gets a whole bunch of hope. It's a nice thing, but...
that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
I was hoping in that situation that what we'd be able to do right there is stun lock him, so for another turn we'd be able to get another 2 health off on everybody, or at the bare minimum another 1 health off on everybody. It was something I had hoped for. Now this alchemy bench over here, it depends on the character you use, but you should use the doctor if you're going to do the alchemy bench. An accident occurs, and so now he's got the blight. That's okay though, because we've got medicinal herbs, which are not... How come you're not lighting up medicinal herbs? I think it's maybe because we need an antidote. Pretty sure anyways. Let's go ahead and I'm going to keep my light radius up because we have a weak party right now. As I said, weak party, lots of light. That's the cure right there. If you have a weak party, just keep the light up very, very high. We may not be able to actually... Oh, another trap. Okay, so that's going to negatively affect our... Ooh, that actually took a lot of damage. Her stress is pretty high right now. The hunger checks, this is one of the reasons why it's hard to tell how many supplies you have to bring. There's no timer to the hunger checks, and in fact, I would like to see that added to the game. Leaving your characters as randomly getting hungry right now leaves a huge variability in how much food you can bring. In a short dungeon, I've seen characters eat upwards of 16 food, and then I've seen them eat none. And so that just right there, there's no way to tell how much food you need to bring along with you, and it does negatively affect the gameplay, I think, from just like my standpoint. It becomes something that is difficult to... It's really difficult to eyeball. Even with metagame knowledge, it's very easy to bring too much or too little food. Let's go ahead and check the bookshelf. The passages are unsettling, so he got a whole bunch of stress from that. I've never been stressed by reading a book, but apparently these people are weak and frail and unable to like handle the simplest of stimuli, so it is what it is. On scouting the next room... It looks like that's going to be a treasure room, which means we need to be aware of the fact that we might get jumped on the way in. Looks like there's a trap in the next room and 2 treasures, but no monsters. No monsters, so that'll work out for us. Did I get all the... I think I still have to do that combat right there, I think, in order to beat the dungeon. If not, we'll probably just try and get out of here. The highwayman seems to be better at disarming traps, so when you see them on the ground like this, I usually use the highwayman to do it, and it seems to work more frequently than anybody else. Just in my opinion. Our line is all kinds of messed up right now here. You get back to where you should be. Alright. So on this side, check the decorative urn. Nothing but ashes inside. That's okay. That's better than getting like a disease or anything else, so I'll take it. We'll check this. The booth contains hidden treasure. The confessional booth can actually do a couple things that are useful. It can banish a bad trait, it can give you a bad trait, or it can give you a good trait, or it can give you nothing, or it can give you treasure. Those are the options that I've seen so far. So the chances of something good happening or nothing happening are far higher than something bad happening, so I usually go with the confessional booths. It's only 500 gold. It's not much. This run has actually been sort of disappointing thus far in terms of like the loot that we've managed to pick up. But let's check the last room here. Okay, so there's a fight. And there's going to be some other stuff to concern ourselves with. Luckily, we aren't ambushed, so we should be able to start off strong. I'm a little bit worried about the guy with the quarrel, so let's go ahead and try and stun gas them. They both resisted. Oh, wow. Okay, so once again, RNG being what it is, sometimes bad things happen, and we just have to, like, roll with that. Not much that you can do here. Just actually, I could try Dazzling Light to see if I can... Actually, that only goes to the front two lines. Never mind. We'll start out then by... Let's just heal everybody. I'm going to try and make sure that everybody has like a little bit extra health because they have a really high crit chance. That's his issue, is that the quarrel that he can fire to the back lines can cause some serious considerable issues when it crits. Eldritch Push is going to miss, which I'm actually really, really happy for. When that attack hits, it's saddening. It definitely leaves you in a position where you're like, ugh, and you let out a deep, deep... You saw how big that last crit was. He crit us for 16 damage, was it? That's a lot of health. That's enough to one-shot a squishier character. And so be aware, one-shottings do happen in this game. How come he just got to take a double turn? Did he take a double turn? Okay, so Corbett is on death's door. What this means is when somebody's at death's door, it means they get a lot of stress, and then B... So that's really, really, really considerably bad right now. Oh, good. Well, not good, actually. Now we can't heal, which means he's going to stay on death's door. Oh... So bad. So bad. There we go. So a little bit of respite there. He's not going to be able to do anything, so we need to rearrange our line. Like I said, it's too easy to rearrange lines right now, and it actually, rearranging your line essentially is the equivalent of you losing an entire turn at this point in the game. And so it's something that I'd like to see, not nerfed, but I'd like to see it reworked. We are actually about to lose this dungeon. I don't like it, but it may happen. Yep, we're going to lose this dungeon, I think. Just based on the fact that we're missing too much. Get a heal off. Get him off death's door. If you can heal somebody just a little bit, it takes them off death's door, and that's all you need to do. Our run is going very, very badly right now. If we get another couple ill-timed misses, I think that's going to be it for us. It's going to be curtains. Especially since I think we have to walk back and fight another round. Oh, please don't. Oh my god. Okay, so... Like I said, it's far too easy for the enemy to rearrange your line as it stands right now, and rearranging your line is the equivalent of canceling out your entire turn, basically, and so it becomes an issue. We're going to need... Let's go ahead, since he can die of the bleeding, I need to get him not bleeding anymore. On this side, we have Illumination. Not going to be that helpful, all things considered. I'm going to try and... She didn't kill him? Oh, man. This is bad. This is really bad. So you see how quickly like a normal run can turn into a terrible run. Let's go ahead and get her. We've only got the guy left with the Arbalest. So we've got... This is rough right now. This is really rough. Things physically could not have gone worse with that fight. Basically, we didn't resist any. Not a single one did we resist of their abilities to move our line around. And that's going to become a long-standing issue for us. I'm actually going to just use a buff on people because it doesn't matter. I'm going to try and farm up some health right here. I'm going to pommel strike you. And I was hoping that would only hit for one, but it didn't, so there it is. Rearrange the line so that she can heal here. Bad luck on our part. Really, really low RNG on this run. Bad, bad numbers. Bad, bad numbers. If you don't know what RNG means, it's just bad luck, essentially. And there's nothing you can do. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was a stupid move. Why did I do that? I'm questioning myself right now as to why I did that. I should have used it on anybody but him since he's going to be stun locking. Another stun lock, but it's going to crit for 14 and kill him. Okay, well, we got a little bit of stress reduction. Right now, we are in bad shape, though.
Victory, but a victory nonetheless.
A trifling victory. You saw what that fight was right there, didn't you? I wouldn't call murdering 4 guys heavily armed in armor with magical skills a trifling victory, but I don't know, maybe your standard is a little bit higher than mine, bud. Anyways, we got some George Washingtons. We got ourselves a torch and 250 gold. And actually, that allowed us to clear the dungeon, so I'm going to get the hell out of here. Let's loot the sarcophagus, though. Hidden treasures. Good, good, good. We got a portrait and 250 gold. Actually, a pretty terrible run. aside from the fact that we might make a little bit of cash, well, it might not be so bad. I forgot we got the rubies, so that actually made it a little bit better. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Darkest Dungeon. I'm going to go ahead and we will start up with the next mission inside of town because of the way that it drops my video footage out. Anyways, I'll see y'all there. Hi, do everybody.